Welcome to Bilingual Analytics. My name is Roland. I'm glad to see you here. On the 1st of February 2022, I shared with you my personal expense tracker and a guide on how to use it. It's a nifty way of saving more money and guiding yourself to a better financial position. If you haven't already watched it, I added the link to the description box below and you will find it in a little info button at the top right corner. Don't forget to check out that video as well and download the free Power BI report. While the original tutorial is focusing on how to use the report, I promised to record a few other, hopefully shorter videos about how the sausage was made. And this is going to be one of those how-to tutorials. In other words, over the next few videos I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks that I used in the expense tracker report, stuff that you can easily replicate in your reports to make your life easier and to make your report consumer's life simpler. These tips are not limited to the expense tracker, I'm just going to use that report as an example. And if you get value out of these tips, please consider clicking on the like and subscribe buttons. It helps to spread the word about some of these cool little features in Power BI. Thanks heaps! In today's episode, I would like to cover my color coding tactics during report creation. Just keep in mind that being a good UI designer takes much more than just mastering colors. So without further ado, let's head over to Power BI. Allow me to start with a statement when it comes to coloring or the number of colors used in your report. Less is more, and you must always keep that in mind. It's super easy to get lost with coloring, especially if you're not a designer. And let's be real, most of us are either business professionals or IT professionals, not designers. With that said, let me show you the expense analysis report page. On this page, every visual element tries to help users to compare last year's spending to this year's spending. It's all about last year year-to-date or month-to-date expenses versus the same metrics for the current year. I only used three main colors in my visuals. Orange to represent last year, bluish to represent this year, and black for the smart narrative and for the change. And I have this light green gradient color as a background image, so in total there are 4 different colors on my report page. But what matters the most is that these colors are consistent throughout the whole report page. Why is it important? Easy. When users open up this report page, they only need to understand 3 colors. And those colors are always going to represent the same year. Let me show you a duplicate of this report page, where I messed up the color coding logic on purpose to show you how big of a difference it makes. It's still the same data, exact same visuals, placed exactly the same way as it was before, but I randomly assigned different colors on every single visual element. There is no consistency whatsoever. If I start switching between these 2 pages, you can see for yourself. Let me know in the comments below which one you think is easier for users to quickly comprehend. Don't forget, DataViz in real life is not about being fancy, it's about delivering a message to your users as quickly as possible. They don't have the time to spend minutes trying to understand what's what within a visual. If users cannot find details they are looking for within 10 seconds, they are going to abandon the report. They are going to abandon your report. Let's go back to the better analysis page. As I said, these colors are consistent throughout the whole page, and they try to help users to spend less time by not necessarily reading the legends. Not only that, but even my tooltips coloring remains the same and guides users to draw quick insights from the data. Orange represent last year, while blue is used for this year. Also, have a look at the tooltip background, a gradient color from left to right, from orange to blue. These small but significant details can all enhance user experience and speed up the process of utilizing the report and understanding the data that sits behind it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a report designer and some of my reports are still not perfectly colored. However, it's all about constant improvement. Once you start seeing reports through the eyes of a designer, you will be able to improve your report design. It doesn't mean that you have to redesign every single one of your reports. No. The exact opposite. Let's have a look at the expense tracker report page in this report. I can guarantee that your eyes were drawn to this hot coloring mess immediately. With the default stacked column visual, I couldn't find a way for better coloring option, especially knowing that others who will use this report might end up changing the expense category names and even the number of them. Sure, I might be able to use something similar to my formula-driven coloring, but honestly, I deemed that project too time consuming and did not bother replicating for this element. However, if you look at all the other visual elements, you will find some coloring logic that I implemented for those. For example, income and savings are going to be this dark green color, and for expenses and overspending, I use this beautiful maroon color, and it is the same for the visual on the bottom and the KPIs on the top. Not only that, but have you noticed that the orange color for the top 5 expense categories is the same color as the coin at the bottom right corner? And the buttons are also the same orange color? So yeah, in some cases we cannot change everything and we cannot create a design that's 100% in line with our expectations, but we can still try our very best to get as close to that vision as we possibly can. I would encourage you to look for designer people in your network. Start following them on social media as they share some great work that we, Power BI report creators, can learn from. One of my favorite report designers, who also happens to share some great nuggets in Power BI, is Armand. I added links to the info box below on how to find him. If you want to see what's possible from a designer point of view in Power BI, make sure to follow him and others who do share some good report design work with the DataViz and Power BI community. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope that you learned something new and interesting from today's tutorial and you will be able to replicate it in your reports. If you haven't already watched it, make sure to check out the personal expense tracker video and download the free report. And don't forget to hit those magic buttons under this video.